Imagine someone you trusted with your child, someone who became like family, suddenly revealing a dark and twisted side. What started as an innocent friendship quickly spiraled into a horrifying ordeal that no one saw coming. A father's worst nightmare became reality, and what he did next shocked the entire nation. In this video, we dive into the chilling true story of trust, betrayal, and ultimate revenge. Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss a single detail of how this story unfolds. The story begins with Jody, an energetic 10-year-old who had a passion for sports. He found joy in karate and soon became one of the best in his class. Jody looked up to his 24-year-old karate instructor, Dute, who seemed to have a knack for working with kids. But despite his charm, Doucette was struggling financially. He was so broke that he lived at the karate studio where he worked. Jody's father, Gary, noticed how much Jody admired Doucette and, feeling sorry for the young man's financial struggles, decided to help him out. He welcomed Doucette into their home, allowing him to share family dinners and even use their shower when needed. Doucette became more than just an instructor. He became a family friend. He would spend time with Jody outside of karate, giving him rides home, taking him to movies, and becoming like an older brother figure to him. Jody enjoyed their time together, thinking he had found a cool mentor and friend. But behind Doucette's friendly demeanor lurked something far darker. Slowly, Doucette began to push boundaries with Jody. At first, it was subtle, small, inappropriate touches when they were alone. Predators like Doucette often test the waters this way, seeing how much they can get away with before someone catches on. And he didn't just manipulate Jody, he was testing Gary and his wife's trust as well, seeing how far he could push his presence in their lives. After months of slowly crossing lines, Doucette's behavior escalated into full-blown abuse. He continued to act like Jody's best friend, always taking him on trips and keeping up the illusion that everything was normal. Jody, only 10, didn't fully understand what was happening. He felt uncomfortable but was too young to know how to process it. He didn't tell anyone about the abuse because, to him, it was all tangled up in the fun activities they did together, going to the movies, karate tournaments, and spending time with someone he admired. This continued for nearly a year until one day, things took a terrifying turn. Doucette showed up at Jody's house asking Jody's mom if he could borrow their car for an errand. She thought nothing of it and even let Jody tag along for the ride. Hours passed, and when they didn't return, panic set in. She contacted the police and it quickly became clear that Doucette had kidnapped Jody. Doucette drove west, making stops along the way, before finally abandoning the car at his uncle's house. He and Jody boarded a bus and traveled from Louisiana to Los Angeles. Now 11, Jody still didn't grasp the seriousness of what was happening. He thought they were on some sort of grand adventure, excited to see new places. In Los Angeles, Doucette took him to see the Hollywood sign and a TV show being filmed. They even went to Disneyland. Jody was enjoying the trip, completely unaware of the growing desperation back home. For 9 long days, Jody's parents were in a living nightmare. There was a nationwide manhunt with the FBI searching for their son, but no one knew if they would ever see him again. Then, Doucette made a crucial mistake. Feeling confident, he allowed Jody to call his mom. What neither he nor Jody's mom knew was that the FBI had tapped the phone, waiting for just this moment. They traced the call and immediately swarmed the motel where Doucette was staying with Jody. Doucette was arrested on the spot and Jody was finally returned to his family in Baton Rouge. You'd think the story would end here, but it didn't. While Jody was safely home, Gary was struggling with the horror of what Doucette had done to his son. The police had informed him of the abuse and the knowledge consumed him. Rage boiled inside him, and despite getting his son back, Gary couldn't let go of the pain. 2 weeks later, Doucette was being extradited from California back to Louisiana to face charges. That same day, a news reporter recognized Gary at a local restaurant and informed him that Doucette would be passing through Baton Rouge Airport that night. That's when Gary snapped. He decided he couldn't just sit back and let the justice system handle it. He needed revenge. Gary went to the airport, disguised in a baseball cap and sunglasses. News cameras were everywhere as police prepared to escort Doucette through the terminal. Gary positioned himself by a payphone, his back to the crowd, waiting for the moment. When Doucette walked by, flanked by officers, Gary pulled out a gun and shot him in the head, right in front of the cameras. Doucette was rushed to the hospital but died the next day. Gary was arrested immediately, but public opinion was divided. Many saw him as a father avenging his son, while others believed he had taken justice into his own hands in the wrong way. Eventually, Gary took a plea deal, and his charges were reduced to manslaughter. He was sentenced to community service and probation, but he didn't serve any time in prison. Meanwhile, Jody, still so young, was left conflicted. In his mind, Doucette had been his friend, the person who had taken him on an adventure to Disneyland. He was angry at his father for killing someone he didn't yet fully understand was a predator. It took years for Jody to come to terms with what had happened and to reconcile with his father. This story serves as a chilling reminder that not everyone who enters our lives with a smile has good intentions. Trust is something that can be easily exploited, and as parents, it's crucial to stay vigilant, listen to our children, and be mindful of who we allow into their lives. Even the people who seem to care the most may be hiding something far darker beneath the surface. What do you think of Gary's actions? Was he justified in taking revenge, or should he have left it to the courts? Have you ever witnessed someone abuse trust in such a devastating way? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.